Good morning, chat. I'm really curious to see how many people are actually up at this hour. I know, like, I think it's like 6 or 7 p.m. for Americans, but most of you guys probably watch VTubers at this time, which is what I'm competing with. So let's see if I do a good job. Anyway, managed to mess up my sleeping schedule again. So I woke up at 4 a.m. and now it's 5. Hashtag VTuber life, right? Welcome to the chat. I see Coconut Tackle. Coconut Tackle is the map maker for my game. It makes amazing maps. And hopefully I can share some with you guys next month or in 2 months. We'll see. In the meantime, we will talk about some very entertaining news. I had to check. The woman is like 1.57. So I assume you're talking about the lady from the title, which we're going to discuss in a bit. But I don't understand, like, why is that important? Women like to date taller men. So if you want to date a taller person, then obviously you need to be shorter than them. But to be honest, for a person to be 1.57, that's actually really difficult because you're going to have a very few selection of men you can pick from that are taller than you. I actually did have this girl in my class. She was very beautiful, stunning. Would play Mortal Kombat. Like, how many girls do you know that play fighting games? And what's also interesting is that I actually managed to hook up with her. Like, we connected. But when I went on the street, like, she was taller than me, and I'm not a short person. Like, this is the only woman that I know which was actually taller than me. She had, like, really long legs. It was like that girl from Family Guy. And I'm telling you, chat, it looked really bad. I mean, I felt bad when I was walking on the street with her, and she felt it like as well. It was like a weird energy, like holding hands with a giantess. Doesn't really feel the same. Like, if you have a girl that's like the same size as you or just slightly bigger, then that's fine. But like, if she's like literally one head bigger than you and you're like, mommy, it just doesn't work out. It feels weird, feels wrong. There was a wrongness to it. So we didn't. No. She wasn't a woman plus. She was just a very gorgeous lady. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Yes. Insomnia stream. What are you talking about? I just woke up. Well, the thing is, like, without heels, she was taller than me, but she insisted on wearing them. She wanted to feel feminine. And I'm like, lady, what are you doing? Are you trying to make me look like Tyrion Lannister? Do you want me to get a little chair so that I can kiss you? The taller, the better. Well, you say that, but when you're actually on the street with one and people are looking at you like you're out with mommy, it doesn't feel that way. You think it doesn't matter, but it does. You know, it slowly chips it at you. It's like, yeah. How much taller than your wife are you? We're about the same size. I think I'm actually bigger than her a little bit. But I prefer it that way. I like women that are similar size to me. So I think I'm like a 10 or maybe 15 centimeters bigger than her. But if she wears high heels, then we're roughly at the same size. And I actually like that. I don't like dating really small women. They're very annoying because, like, every time you're in the house, they're like, hey, can you come down here? Like, I need you to help me pick this up. It's like she's like reaching and she can't, get to the can of sugar or whatever it's in the kitchen. Right? Like, when she does the laundry, she needs help because, like, she can't reach and it's like, oh, come on. I'm not your ladder, woman. Why climb the mountain? Because it's there. If the volume is way too low, then you can turn it off. Like, there's like this dial on your speakers and you can turn it up a little bit. But anyway, right, let's see if I can find a couple of interesting news articles to talk about. Here we go. Monster Energy Drinks goes after Musume for trademark claim. Very interesting. Why would they do this? Look at it. Monster Energy Drink goes after Musume. Copyright issues often come up in the anime community because there's a lot of pirated content. Sometimes it's hard to sue for copyright, like when someone used the AI to steal Genshin Impact art and didn't take responsibility. But apparently, we're now going to look at the energy drink, which gives you kidney stones, from what I understand. Energy drink company has filed trademark claims against anything with the word monster in it. They started by going after Pokemon, and now they're going after the Monster Musume series. Isn't it like a little bit weird considering the fact that Pokemon is a lot older than energy drink monster? I mean, like Pokemon, I remember it was like what, the 90s? Because I remember like first it came out in the news when some kid got epilepsy from Pikachu going all powered up and shit. Like Team Rocket fired some rockets and Pikachu used the lightning and it gave people a strobe. So that's how I heard about Pokemon first, because like in Romania we didn't have it. But then we did. Apparently not that episode, like that was removed. We never got to see it. They didn't even bother to remove the scene, like the entire episode was removed, which was fine because, believe it or not, like back in the day they would make the episodes to be standalone. And I kind of understand why they did it. See, now that I'm talking with screenwriters and people that make actual stories for movies, I know a lot better. So back in the 80s and the 90s, if you guys watch TV shows, you would notice that there may be like an overarching theme in a season. Like there may be like one bad guy, but usually most episodes were standalone. They wouldn't even talk about the bad guy, right? So like you could watch them in any order you wanted. It wouldn't matter. Usually the last episode and the one before the last were about the actual thing. You know, like for example in Star Trek, let's say the Borg are coming. And it would only be like the episode before the last and the last that would actually show like the coming of the Borg. It would end with a cliffhanger, and then the first episode of the next season would talk about it, and then, like, again, just standalone episodes, they would completely ignore the fact that the Borg are there. And the reason they did this is because back then people didn't have DVDs or CDs or anything like that. Like, you could only watch the show by tuning in at a certain hour. And if you missed it, you missed it. Like, there was very little way for you to see that episode again. So what would happen is that if you had like a show like, I don't know, Breaking Bad, right? Like where every episode ties into one another, it would be very easy for viewers to get lost and very difficult for new viewers to tune in. Because like, again, like you didn't have like any way to recap these episodes. So they would basically do these standalone things as a way to allow new people to jump into the show without having to understand all the lore and everything that happened before. Nowadays, you don't need to, because nowadays, if I want to watch One Piece, right, which I haven't watched, because it's very intimidating when I notice that there's like 10,000 episodes of it. But if I wanted to watch One Piece, I can just download the thing and I watch from episode 1, right? So this is why they changed it. So back in the day, you know, with Pokemon, they could remove that episode, which was causing people strobes, without any problem, because like it didn't tie into to everything. So anyway, Monster Musume trademark that Pokemon, it was the turn of Monster Musume Everyday Life with Monster Girls. The Monster Energy Drink Company filed trademark claims against this anime series. And apparently the Japan Patent Office denied all the claims filed by the Monster Energy Drink Company. The GPO manages patents and logos in Japan and gives legal permission for them. Despite their claims being denied, the energy drink company continues to go after anything with Musume in it. So basically they're, I guess like they're flagging stuff on YouTube and other places. According to the Monster Energy Drink Company, using the word monster in other companies' brand names could confuse customers. So they want all the companies and media to stop using that word so that people can drink Monster Energy Drink without any confusion. Ironically, when Monster Energy Drink Company first entered Japan, they tried filing a complaint under their M logo, and this was instantly rejected because a company with a similar logo to Monster was already present in Japan. Man, I really hate these companies, to be honest, you know? It's one thing when you want to protect your IP, but it's another thing, like, even if they were to have the right, like, let's assume that it would be legal for them to go after anything with the word monster in it. makes you look like a piece of shit in front of the fans, doesn't it? Like, you're basically going after something that a lot of people like and enjoy, which is Monster Musume, right? Like, it's very wholesome, good anime, and you're deciding to, like, okay, well, we're going to go after this. And it reminds me of a couple of other controversies in the same order, where even though it's right and you have the legal right to do it, it's not recommended. Metallica going after their fans with Napsters, like, that's one. But the second one is the React videos, right? So, like, you had on YouTube these individuals, I think it was like the React Brothers or something like that, and they created a genre which people would react to videos. So basically what they were doing is that they were saying the React thing only belongs to them. And if you were to make a React video, yes, Coconut, it's wholesome, shut the fuck up. If you were to do a React video, they would actually try to copyright claim you. And it had a lot of conversations about it, but they lost a lot of subscribers due to it. Because, like, people were fed up, you know, like, they would strike their favorite content creators. And at the end of the day, you know, like, you can't really trademark a style of video. I think, like, Microsoft also trademarked the double click. Like if you have an operating system, you're not allowed to use the double click, so you have to use something else. All right. Here we go. I was getting my chin cut off by the camera. Up. All right. The bird girl is the best. No, the horsey girl. Oh god. I haven't watched Master Musume. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I haven't watched it, so I have seen like a couple of trailers from it, and it does look wholesome. But I know a lot of people do like it. So, like, picking on it and trying to to make it change its name. Like, imagine if they got it to change its name. That would have been quite an outrage in Japan. I wonder, like, if they think they would actually sell more energy drinks rather than less. So the energy drink thing, I generally, like, don't like it. Like, usually I'm not against drinking unhealthy beverages. But, like, that shit has so much caffeine in it, and it's, like, a lot. It's, like, what, like 0.5 liters of energy drink? Wow, that is something. So, I would not recommend it. Like, if you want kidney stones, it's a good thing, but other than that, and for some reason it sells because of its marketing. Like, it markets itself as the drink for gamers, and it has like Call of Duty on it and shit like that, so a lot of people just drink it because of it. No one dares to mention 40k on YouTube regarding Games Workshop. Funny enough, they seem to relax on it. Right, like after they fucked with the Emperor's new text-to-speech thing, and they messed with a lot of other YouTube channels, eventually they laxed, because I think like their whole thing with Warhammer Plus, or whatever it was called, like they wanted to have like this streaming service. That didn't work. I don't know how much Arch Warhammer contributed to that failure, but yeah, they really relaxed after realizing that their new thing didn't work. It's so stupid as well. It's like you're going after the people that promote you. But one of the interesting cases was when Blizzard went after people making Overwatch porn. And I actually know why they did that. Because I was also a little bit surprised, you know, like, why is Blizzard going after people making Overwatch porn? Because that's just promoting your stuff. I remember, you know, browsing the internet and seeing Mercy doing some extracurricular activities. And Farah doing certain things that she enjoyed doing. And I was like, maybe I should play some Overwatch, right? Because it was cool. It makes you want to play it. Like, you see the characters, and there is that appeal. That sex appeal that sells. And the Blizzard is like, no, we're going to remove all of these. Now, after talking with a ex-Blizzard developer, I found out why they were doing it. It's because the porn was so popular, right? Like, the Overwatch porn at the time was so unbelievably popular that when you would search for Overwatch in the engine, back then you didn't have Google having safe search. So like if it was like a porn that was really really popular, it would pop up, and you would search for Overwatch in the search engine, and it would come up with the porn first, right? Like the official Blizzard website was under like two, maybe three other search functions of porn, right? So that's why Blizzard decided to go after the porn. It was like it was so popular, it was overtaking their own stuff. So like people would think that, oh well, it's a porn game, which was not. Yeah, it was more popular than the game. Like that was the funny thing, right? Like there were more people interested in it, and it was popular with the women as well. Like that's what was bizarre. Like female gamers and non-female gamers would be connoisseurs of this. I'm mandated to watch a webinar right now, so don't tell the government I'm watching this in another window. Oof. Well, at least you're not super chatting. That would have been even worse. Then it would be a paper trail. Let me see if I can find something else to talk about, because there were some funny articles. Oh look, Bud Light. This is my favorite. Bud Light finally decided to surrender. Like Budweiser is raising the white flag. At this point, I think it just looks like pandering, and it looks like pathetic. Like you're not going to regain trust like this. Like the only thing you can do, Budweiser, is to just shut the fuck up and hope it goes away. So Budweiser releases new pro America ad with iconic mascot in wake of the controversy. So Budweiser has released a new patriotic advertisement as its parent company struggles with the controversy, which I've been told by leftists on Twitter that it's pathetic and it doesn't work. The advertisement, which was released on social media on Friday, features the Budweiser's famous Clydesdale horse traveling the country from New York City to Grand Canyon, passing by scenes in the American heartland as a narrator delivers a patriotic message. This is a story bigger than beer. This is a story for the American spirit. Yeah, but see, this is the problem. Joe Biden said that the American spirit is transgender people, so I don't know, Budweiser. I don't know how. Budweiser, I can see what you're doing there. Very sly. Very sly. Good on you. You know, this is how you farm diversity point. Yeah, seriously, didn't Joe Biden said that transgender people are the spirit of America? Hold on, I need to look into it. Joe Biden, transgender people, spirit of America. Or was it the soul of America? No. Okay, my bad. See, I almost made a mistake here. He said that Biden says transgender people shape our nation's soul. Yeah, but isn't soul and spirit synonymous? Can we make that connection? Can we establish it? Uh-oh, Sammy, now you're in trouble with the government. Look what you did. Look what they're coming for you, Sammy. The FBI are going to come in Australia after you. There is no way to. There is a way to fix it, but I won't name it. Hire me, only 10 million. No, I don't think you can fix it at this point. Like the problem is that if they apologize or if they do anything to please right wingers, then the left goes after them. If they double down or they do nothing, then the right wingers boycott them. So literally, there's nothing they can do. The only thing I suppose that I see that it works is to wait a little bit, like wait 2-3 months, you know, until things die down, and then you have to actually do some charity, like but like genuine charity, okay, not activist groups. You help some I don't know, refugees. So not refugees, sorry. You help some orphans, right? Like it needs to be something that's not politically charged. You help like some orphans. You do something for the poor and the needy, right? But it needs to be like non-identity politics, non-political. It's a lot easier to do on YouTube. I don't know what you can do as a beer company though, right? Like feed the people. It's kind of difficult because again, like you're an alcoholic company. You know, like you don't really. I guess you can give free beer to people, like at sporting events and stuff. You go there and you give like free Budweiser, and you know you're like, we're trying to do better. It's very difficult, yes. Send a whole lot of beer to Africa. Yeah, like that's the problem. You know, like if you were making like Pepsi or something like that, you could have given it to schools. But like you're not even doing that. So what if BreadTube cancels them for giving to charity? No, because they're a corporation. All right, like BreadTube respects corporations. They only go after individuals. When a company does it, it's fine. When an individual does it, it's bad. How will it help us sell more beer? You know, this is a really good question. It's like, I don't think I ever seen many cases where a commercial actually manages to sell less of the product. Like, usually, when you have a failed commercial, you just release it and no one cares. And you basically lost money for that commercial, right? Like, you spent $20,000 to make the commercial and no one bought the beer, so you lost $20,000. Right? Like, that's the worst that can happen. But in this situation, it's literally the opposite. It's like you spend money, and you actually get people who would have bought your product to choose not to buy it. Like that is very progressive. I don't think like in the history of humanity we have seen something like this happen. Stable Diffusion knows who the Overwatch chicks are. Just made a 3D tracer that looks photorealistic. I wish I could see it. Put it on Twitter. DM me about it. Yeah, they literally managed to unsell beer. Like, I do not think that there are many situations where you manage to unsell something. By the way, can you imagine a world where you could make a commercial to attack another company? 1 second. Because the thing is, like, I understand it's illegal. Like, if Pepsi makes a commercial to attack Budweiser, it says, like, oh, this is a shit company, blah, blah, blah. They're not allowed to do that. But I would love to see a world where, like, they are able to attack other companies. Like, it would be so hilarious. Like, to see, you know, instead of commercials promoting something, you see commercials dismantling something. I mean, it would be hilarious if you don't make a product. If you make a product that is really bad. Not using Twitter, not giving them my phone. Well, I don't know how you can get in touch with me then. Like, give it to someone that does use Twitter so they can give it to me. I don't use Telegram because I also have to use my phone. I guess, like, you know, in the future, our children are all going to have to use the internet like it's official court documents. Like, everything you say on Twitter, knowing that it's being traced, you have to be extremely careful about it. It's not, well, so here's the thing, right? A lot of people make the mistake between understanding that they actually lost stock prices, right? So they didn't lose sales. We don't know how many sales they lost, because I think at the end of May comes the sale report. So we don't actually know how much beer they managed not to sell. I do assume it is a little bit because there have been restaurants and bars and famous musicians that had deals with this company, and they just threw the deals away. So they may have lost a little bit, but the stock is basically the image that investors have in this company. So it's kind of like if they view that the company is going to be unprofitable in the future, then they sell the stock. If they view that the company is going to be profitable, then they buy the stock. So what we're talking about is investor confidence. Like those $7 billion lost are people believing that the company is not going to manage to do good in the future. But regarding the sales of beer, we genuinely do not know. So they may have lost, but how much, I don't, like, no one can tell you now. It's not going to go into the memory hole. I mean, it's something that's part of the culture war, and it's ingrained right now. It's kind of like Chick-fil-A being anti-gay, you know? Like, it is a brand that's going to stick on them for a little bit. And it depends what they're going to do, right? Like, from what I can see, they're not doubling down. So they understand that, oh shit, this is not going away. Because if it was going away, they wouldn't have made the commercial with the horse traveling into the heartlands and talking about patriotic messages, and the CEO writing a thing saying, oh, well, we hired a lot of people. You know, if you hurt us, you hurt the people we hire, so please have mercy. Yeah, no. The woke do sell, actually. You know, like, I know that people like to make the thing with South Park and the hippie. No, you can sell to the woke. Black Panther sold really well. Steven Universe created a franchise. You can sell to the woke, but it's difficult, and you need to know how to do it. But basically, the correct way to do it is not by pandering. Like, that's number one. Has Been Hotel, right? Like, Has Been Hotel is pretty woke. But it manages to sell because it doesn't follow the same woke formula, right? Like, it's not in your face. It's not like they do have every single character like has its own sexuality, and they have like Wikipedias with the characters and their flags and whatever. But like, it's not in your face. Like, it's not trying to tell you that the show is about the sexuality. It's like, no, it's there, right? It does a little bit of the CalArt style, not a lot, but it does a little bit of it. But it also improves, like, it brings something original. The colors, they're amazing, right? The characters curse a lot, but they vary the curses, and they use original insults. So you can sell to the woke. It can be done. It's just that most people who try to, they go after the same formula. They go like, all right, so let's take a character that's already established, let's make him black, or let's make him gay, and we call it a day. So it's not going to sell like that. The funniest one that actually managed to try and sell to the woke and ended up failing bad is Starbucks. So like, Starbucks coffee, the CEO of Starbucks coffee was genuinely a woke individual. Like, there is no doubt about it that man was like believed in what he was saying. Like, he wasn't a person that would just talk some talking points in order to try. No. Like, the guy was like legitimately into social justice, right? So the first thing he did was an initiative that if you went to Starbucks to buy coffee, the barista would have to lecture you about America's slavery. Like, that was mocked on the papers. That was like literally laughed out of the room, and back in 2016. This was like, I think, like before the elections, right? So it was like, if you wanted to buy a Starbucks, they would actually talk to you about the social injustices and blah 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 blah. Then there was the scandal in the media where two black individuals were kicked out of a Starbucks coffee, and they said that it's racism. So what they did is like, two black gentlemen, right? They go into a Starbucks, and they're asked to buy something, which is normal, right? Like, if I go somewhere, they're telling me to buy it. But like, they didn't want to buy anything. So they were kicked out, and they refused to leave. So the lady calls the police, and the police comes up, and there's this big scene with activists, and they're basically saying that, oh well, you're what was the argument? You're being racist because it was like the violence so that cops can do to black people, and those black people were just discussing a business deal, right? Like, they were architects or something, and they were just talking at the table, right? So the CEO decided to step in. Obviously, the manager of that Starbucks got fired. They forced all the Starbucks stores to shut down for 2 days. Every single employee went under diversity training. And then they had this rule that anyone can use the Starbucks restaurant for anything, even if they don't buy, right? So now you have like homeless people, you have like literally anyone from the street, junkies, to the point where if you went on Reddit, you would see people complaining about how, well, they don't want to clean the bathrooms anymore because they're filled with needles, and they don't want to get poked and get HIV or something. So they're very concerned about this, and they don't want to work. Right? Now, after the BLM protests, guess who comes out? The CEO of Starbucks Coffee, and he says that this is unsustainable, that in certain neighborhoods he can't operate anymore because people loot and steal, and they break into his store, and the police do nothing. And I was looking at, well, hello, the consequence of your fucking actions. right? Like literally, it was that. So he basically was talking about how you can't do business like this. How like, well, it costs more to have security in these neighborhoods than it costs to actually. And also the thing, like, he failed to take into account is the customers, right? Like, sure, the customers who buy Starbucks are woke as fuck, right? Because like they're corporate employees, corporate drones, which all of them speak social justice and all of them pay for very expensive soy latte. But the problem is, while they speak for social justice and you know, like, they have black people as friends, it's black people from the corporate environment. It's not the ones from the ghetto, right? Like these individuals that are progressive, white, and they drink the soy latte. They don't want to sit at the table next to some guy from the ghetto. The class difference is very obvious, despite the fact that they're for social justice and whatnot. They do not want to share the same venue as a person that's sticking a needle up his arm, or a person that uses the N-word as a pejorative, or you know, someone that talks about banging bitches and what. Like, no, they don't like that. So when you open the doors for those people, well, you end up with the actual clientele, the soy latte enthusiasts. They're the ones that are going to leave. So that's why his business went down the shitter. Look up the Coke flavor move. It is an openly trans flavor. There was no backlash because they didn't subvert their main flavor. Yeah, you know, like if Budweiser came up with a new brand of beer, and it would have like had this pride flag on it, and it would be like, well, so this is the beer we're doing for July, and they would have hired literally anyone else besides Dylan, anyone else, anyone. I think Amos Yee would have created a smaller backlash. Honestly, like the person is radioactive. It's controversial. But it is what it is, you know. If Brian is right, if they would have created a new brand of beer that wouldn't have gone with the main taste, right? It wouldn't have affected the main taste, or it wouldn't have been on a beer that people actually feel an emotional attachment to. That would have been fine. What you are saying is that there are no neutral institutions. There are. In my country, there are. I mean, if you have like the old lady selling T-shirts down the hallway, what are we talking about? Like, what partisanship does she have? Anti-racism is the new racism. Well, it's socially acceptable, right? It's socially acceptable. Like you can say shit about men or cisgender straight white people, and there's no consequence. By the way, I saw the trailer for Ariel, and I was a little bit shocked. I had to stay a little bit and go like, all right, well, what are we looking at? Let me see if I can find it though. Oh yeah, I know where to look for it. My God, it's and also I saw the ending, right? Like a lot of people don't know, but whenever Disney releases a movie, they first release a comic book for children. Not a comic book, like a little book, a little story for kids. And you can buy this story from Walmart. So when you do that, you get the spoilers. And in the spoilers of the latest one, we got to see how it's Ariel that actually kills Ursula, which, I mean, it's expected, but you're basically robbing a big chunk of the story, which is the fact that Ariel's father finally comes around and says, well, humans aren't that bad because, you know, like, he actually saved my daughter and stuff. Hold on. This is the one? Yeah, this is the one. So let me show you the trailer. Like the thing that bothers me the most is that she is touching jellyfish, and this is what Disney is doing, and this is like part of woke storytelling. Like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not, just put it in because it looks cool. But I, as a person who knows what a jellyfish is, and when I see someone that looks like a human touching one, it makes me cringe. It makes me, ugh. They're poisonous. Why are you poisoning Ariel? Look at this. Why is she doing this? Like, the jellyfish is about to eat her. The special effects are like... Man, this is like Hollywood's version of $6 million worth of shitposting, isn't it? Because I'm willing to bet those special effects are very expensive, but they look so goddamn cheap. They look so bad. Dude, I can hire people and make better special effects than this. And this is the worst, alright? Just look at this. Why are we getting a shot of Ursula's squid pussy? Why did they think this is a great idea to do? Like, even in the original, it's beyond unbelievable, beyond atrocious. Like, literally, this is shitposting done at a corporate multi-billion-dollar level. I don't think it's a Disney song. I think it's replaced by what's it called? I think the song is replaced. I'll edit it out, no problem. But I just want to point out just how bad it is. Bad, squishy, yes, like a squishy. And let me show you something else, right? Like, this is what a lot of people are laughing about. I generally think that people at this point just lost interest. Like, it's not even hate watchable. It's just like, what are you doing? I'm not interested in it. Right, so Ariel is now the one running the ship into Ursula, right? I pointed out on my entertainment channel that in the old days, like, sure, men would be the heroes in most Disney movies, but they would never be the heroes without the help from the princess. Like, she was essential. Now, it's just like out of spite, like, the prince is just like a comedy relief that can just not be there, and the story is the same. But anyway, right, like if she can slither like a Lamia, like a monster girl, like they made Ariel into a Monmusu, if Monmusu Ariel can just wiggle around the land, what does she need feet for? Like, at this point, might as well just go seduce the prince. Maybe they're going to push the idea that it doesn't, maybe she doesn't even need the feet. Like, this would be an excellent ending. Like, she doesn't even need the feet. She's like, if she believes she can walk on land, then goddammit she can. Who needs oxygen? But, Ursula doesn't even look scary. Like, I remember in the original, she was actually supposed to look menacing, right? So that you make this scene look impactful. Like, in order for her to actually overcome the evil, then Ursula needs to look menacing. And this one, I actually feel bad for Ursula. Now, I know what some social justice activists will say. It's like, well, it's for children. It's like, yeah, which is why these images are very important. Because, like, the whole idea of a children book is the images are the main focus. Because most kids can't read, right? So, like, you have, like, very little text. You get, like, 2, maybe 3 sentences. But then the visuals have to be the ones that are driving the story. This is how it works with kids. At least this is how I remember when I was a kid, right? Like, I couldn't read, and for me, this was actually, like, when I was, like, 4 or 5. Like, for me, this was a strain. Like, it actually took a lot for me to go through the hieroglyphs. So the images were the ones that were driving the thing, and if I were to see this, I would actually feel bad for Ursula. It's like, well, why is she doing this to the pretty lady? In fact, it's like, yeah, like the Ursula should have had this face, right? Like, the face that shows murderous intent, which Ariel is having. But anyway, you know, whatever. This is like the last of the concern. There's so many things wrong with it. This is just like nitpicking at this point. Mermaids are always kind of crap in Japanese media. Well, like mermaids are not sexy. I don't know why. I think Walt Disney managed to make mermaids sexy, but it's something fishy. It's slippery. It smells. Why would you want it? Making Uriel the black woman Lizzo would sell so much more. You know, holy shit, Lizzo as Ursula would have been a perfect cast. I would have watched it. Lizzo as Ursula. That would have actually worked. Oh my god, like thank you, chat. Yeah. And she's a good musician, she could sing. Hold on, let me just oh god. I'll tweet this out. I'll tweet this out. Lizzo as Ursula in Ariel would have made a perfect casting choice. Let me see, because I got like different pictures that I need to select from. Ah, here we go. I stole that idea, chat. It's not your idea now, it's mine. Lizzo as Ariel would be funny. Yeah, I mean, Lizzo as anything would be funny, but as Ursula, it would actually make sense. Stealing chat's idea for clout. Well, it's what I do. Lizzo steals her voice and the trident. I know. Like I thought that you guys thought about it. Like even from a story point of view, even from a pop culture reference, even from you know the actor looking the part, like everything. Centaur girls are better than other monster girls. How? How? Like you're literally voshing at that point. You know, like other monster girls, they at least have their private bits in a way that a human would, but like the centaur is literally behind the horse. Like you, no, no. Yeah, the only like centaur girls are amazing. The only problem is the horse part. Like if you have a centaur girl without the horse part, then that's great. I wish they would stick closer to the older fairy tales rather than water them down, dude. Like, I remember when I was a kid, you know, they're complaining about the violence on TV and shit. Do you know just how violent children's stories used to be? I mean, holy shit, and they were sick as well. Like Sleeping Beauty. The way she wakes up is that the king actually impregnates her while she sleeps, and it's the pain of birth that manages to wake her. That's a children's story. You know, Hansel and Gretel, they burned the witch alive, and the witch was eating children, right? Like the witch locks Hansel and Gretel in a cage. I mean, you know, the witch gets pushed into an oven and gets burned alive. You got Cinderella. Like, in order for the twin sisters to get their foot into the shoe, they have to cut off part of their leg, and it's described with the blood and stuff. And I'm thinking, like, Jesus, you know, like these were the stories that I grew up as a kid. Like, they would never depict that on TV because it was horrifying. Little Red Riding Hood, she gets raped in the original. Like, most people don't know, but there's another story before the story that you were told. So in the original, like, the wolf actually rapes her and then eats her, and she doesn't get saved. And the whole purpose of that story is to teach little girls not to trust strangers. Hansel and Gretel are anti-Semitic? Are they? Um, they cut off their toes and heels. Yes, Pinocchio was dark too. I don't remember what I don't know what happened in the Pinocchio one. And I'm not even talking about the Brother Grimm tales. Like Brother Grimm, oh my god, like they have some really dark stuff in there. Very nasty. Little Mermaid is nasty as well. So like in the original Little Mermaid, the prince doesn't love her. Like she transforms into a human, and it's described that her legs feel a lot of pain. Like when she walks, it's like walking on shards of glass. But when she actually does go to the prince, he's already in love with someone else. So she commits seppuku. Like she jumps off from a high place, falls into the water, and turns into foam. And I think like her spirit, in order to like find redemption, because like she went against her father, like that's another big trope in a lot of fairy tales. Like going against the father is being viewed as something very bad. So she goes against the father, and because of that, she's damned, and now she has to help the souls of other sailors to find their way to dry land in order to redeem herself. Pinocchio got hanged at the end for lying and other stuff. Is that a thing? Jesus. He has no reason to love her. She crushes on him, but literally doesn't know who she is. Well, the way I would view it, right? Like, as a woman, you don't really need a reason to love, but like the idea was that Ariel was of such startling beauty, like she was of such breathtaking beauty and innocence, that is why the prince would love her, and not to mention she was also the one that saved his life. So no, there is romance there. You know, there is definitely the possibility. And basically, like, she is risking everything in order to have a chance for the prince to love her. Right? Like, she doesn't expect that the prince is going to fall in love with her, but she is expecting that she would at least be given the chance to prove herself, right? And it's an interesting story. I mean, it's not bad. But, like, the moral is, like, if you're the woman, right, like, you shouldn't assume that just because you do something for someone that they're going to love you in return, and it's a good moral to have. Yeah, I know I look at Ariel animated story for kids that was like, that it hurt to walk and she gave over at movie ends. Well, yeah, you know, like Disney had to do a lot of changes in most of these stories, and that's even back then, right? Because first of all, I don't even know if it's like for kids, but it wouldn't look good on the screen, right? Like they were going for like the Disney magic thing, and if you have like just a story that ends as gruesome as the one that Ariel ended, you know, where like the father was right. She goes out of the water. She feels a lot of pain and then commits seppuku. Like that's not really a story that sells, right? Like it's not something that most people want to see. They did deal with drama and tragedy, and they did it very well with Lion King when you have Mufasa dying, and it's like the circle of life type of thing. So yes, like this, they did cover some dark themes, but not as much. No, the moral of the story of Ariel is listen to your father. In the original, at least. Let me see if I can find the article that I should have talked about 20 minutes ago. Give me 1 second. Where's the lady that? Ah, here we go. So we got a MAFS star. What is a MAFS star though? Oh, Married at First Sight is facing backlash after fans discuss. My wife watches this shit. The Romanian version. Horrible show, by the way. Most of them end up divorcing, which makes sense. I mean, you're taking people, so you're putting a couple of contestants in a house, and you lock them in there for a couple of months, and at the end you expect that they form couples and they get married, and the public votes for them, and they receive a prize. I think it's like in my country, I think it's like $60,000, which they split half and half. My bad. But most of them divorce, right? So they do it for the money. But apparently, the profile of one of the contestants was leaked, with many social media users shocked to see a minimum 6-foot height required in her bio. The single mother, oh, there we go, who is just 5'2" herself, wrote on her profile, "You should leave a comment if you're 6 feet or taller." I don't see the problem with it. I generally don't. I don't think it's okay to discuss sexual interests. Right? Like, if she has a sexual interest for people that are 7 foot, then, that's her. Like, why? Not to mention, why would you want her to waste your time? Like, if you know that she doesn't care about people that are under 6 foot, why would you, message her and waste your time and all of that? And not to mention, I'm pretty sure that a man could probably be under 6 foot and still seduce her. But it is what it is. I guess, I will tell you something about women. That end up being single and sometimes, especially single mother. Why can't they be more like their grandmother? Like their grandmother and their mother, I assume. Their father or their grandfather, what would they have fit their preferences? Was their father and grandfather 7 foot? Did they earn $200,000 a year? Did they manage to look stunning and gorgeous? Were they good parents? Because I noticed that when you listen to some of the girls online, and they go on through the list. It's almost like a shopping list for the perfect man. And you realize that they're naming like 0.5% of the human population. And you're wondering, why can't they be more humble like their mother or their grandmother? Right? Like their mothers and their grandmothers managed to have a relationship. They managed to get married. In many cases, maybe it wasn't the best, but hey. They are so entitled that it's astonishing, right? And what's interesting is that while the entitlement goes on, you have like various ideologies in society saying that, oh, we can't have sexy women in comic books because it creates unrealistic expectations for the boys. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, when I was a teenager and upwards, like, I was at the level of anything with the pulse, despite the fact that I was reading comic books. So, no, it's... this is very unrealistic. But hey, if a person wants to have unrealism in their life, they can live it. But it's kind of like trying to find a job, and you're unemployed, and you're like, I will only work at Google, I will only work at NASA, I will only work like at these very prestigious institutions, and I will settle for no less. Okay, but what can you do? Well, I just finished university. I mean, that's great, but like, so you want to work at Marvel, but like you never drawn, you never no, okay, right? So like I mean, what else can you talk with these individuals? Right? Like, what else is there to discuss? If you have someone that doesn't know how to code, but they really want to work as a programmer at Google, and they will settle for nothing less, right? Like they send applications to other places, other jobs contact them, they're not interested. No, it's like Google or bust. It's like, okay, sure. I mean, it's their right. The opposite is also true, by the way. Like, imagine okay, so imagine that I wanted someone that can code in Unity, Godot, is a great artist, an amazing editor, because I did it for my game, and I'm paying him $500 a month. Right? Like, and then I'm going Pikachu face when no one is applying. It's like, well, yeah, but like, the person that you want to hire would, first of all, it's very difficult to find. And secondly, if such a person did exist, you would have to pay them like $3,000 to $4,000 a month for them to even look at you. But I'm like, no, I know my worth. MAFS fans were divided, apparently. Tell me your values are cooked without telling me your values are cooked. But another fan said people are entitled to ask for whatever they want. Exactly. But at the same time, people are also going to end up with cats, right? So Carolina eventually responded to the controversy, saying men are allowed to say they like big booty and no one cares, but the woman can't say I like tall men. I'm sorry, if you say you like big booty, that is misogynismus. I don't know why she thinks that men are allowed to say that. They're not, right? Like, as a man, but the thing with men saying they like big booty is that there is a huge chunk of the female population that has big booty, right? Like, it's not an unrealistic call. But when you say that you want men that are 6 feet tall, like, that's already a very small chunk of the masculine population. And then when you say, like, how much you want them to earn, well, you divide that even further. So that's really the problem. But yeah, like, regarding her size, I think it's ridiculous, because, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you like tall men, then obviously, like, she's going to be smaller than the 6 foot that she has, or the 5 foot, or whatever. I mean, those shoulders are oof. She could play the NFL. Motherfucker, if that lady comes to you in real life and asks you to take her to a cup of coffee, you'd put your coat on. Don't give me that shit. Like, I see people on the internet starting to go like, oh, wait, she's not good looking. If you're out at a pub and that lady asks you to go to the bar with her, you would probably go, like, she's not that bad looking. Shut up. I guess, you know, the fact that she's a single mother might be problematic. But, like, the way she looks is fine. And I know, like, a lot of people, well, usually women go, it's like, oh, so what's wrong if she's a single mother? Like, where do I start? Like, first of all, there's another man in her life, right? So, basically, you're asking me to have to put up with the concept that another man is going to see the child potentially every week, right? Secondly, is the fact that, if you had a kid with another man and couldn't, maintain the marriage, right? Like, why should I assume that you're going to be able to maintain the one that I have? Like, why would I even risk it? It's a risk assessment. It's kind of like when you go to an insurance company, they look at how many car crashes you had in the past, and maybe they weren't your fault, right? Like, maybe the car crashes were due to factors completely outside of your constraint, but the insurance company doesn't give a fuck. I want you to look at me like an insurance company. If you're asking me, you know, for a romantic involvement, I am like the insurance company that's going to judge you based on statistics and probabilities. Because at the end of the day, if a divorce happens, you're asking me for half my shit. So the question is, like, how much do I care about half my shit? The answer is a lot. And as such, I need to take precautions. Right? Like, you're asking me to lose more than the insurance company loses if you do the car crash. And then there's also another issue. It's the fact that maybe I want to have a child with someone for the first time, and they want to, I want to see them enjoy the joy of parenthood for the first time, like I am, right? So, like, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't consider a single mother to be the first option. Like the same way she can say, oh, well, I don't want tall men, the same way a man can say, well, I don't want a single mother. The only acceptable thing for a single mother, though, is, like, if the husband died. Like, I would understand that. But even then, that would still be an issue. It's like, well, you're asking me to care for a child that's not my own. Like, what if I don't love him? What if he's a dick? What if he doesn't love me? Like, what if I provide the best nurturing environment possible, but the kid goes, well, you're not my biological father, so fuck you. Why would I even want to be in that situation? Single mom doesn't mean one kid? Oh, well, if it's more than one kid, then it's like, I'm not even going to talk about it. Like, we're not even discussing it. It's just. But the question is, do women like single fathers? Because that's rarely asked. I guess like you don't really find that many in the wild, right? Because usually in the United States, the law states that the practice is to give the child to the mother. But like, do women like single fathers? Huh? Like legit question. I don't know if I have any ladies in the audience, but I'm curious. Yeah, like literally, the "you're not my real dad" is the thing that you're probably going to end up hearing, right? Or you're going to have to lie to the child and like pretend that you're the actual dad. Like, why even be placed in that situation? Like when there are options available. That's not a thing. It's in movies. Guys. I'll probably make this into a video on my main channel because I'm curious to see what people have to say. It's an interesting conversation. But anyway, right. Thank you guys for joining, and thank you for watching the stream and the super chats. And I will see you all on my main channel. Take care.